Alright, I figured while I'm driving, I'm just sitting here holding the camera, so every once in a while I gotta look down at it, make sure it's pointed at my face. Not that you guys want to see my face, but I actually just had an email from a guy on YouTube that asked me about skid loader buckets, what my opinion was. This is strictly opinion. He asked if I ever used a smooth bucket over a tooth bucket. I have in the past. I'm not a big smooth bucket guy. I kind of like tooth buckets. The only time a smooth bucket is nice, I do like to have one for my mini skid, because we're usually pulling dirt like off the sidewalks and stuff like that. When we're rough grading and even final grading, normally you've got your grade set decent enough. If you're setting rough grade, you know, you've got you kind of have like clumpy dirt. It's not crumbly dirt, so you can't really get a whole lot of powder a lot of times. But you can still kind of hover that bucket over the concrete and back drag it with the heel, or even with the bottom, and get a majority of that material off. A lot of times I'll take a come along with me and I'll come along it off the driveway to make it look nice. Or a broom. I used to keep a broom in my toolbox, but I don't have a big enough toolbox now, so. But no, I don't really like using smooth buckets. You can get a smooth grade with a tooth bucket, because the bottom of the teeth are in the same plane as the bottom of the bucket. I kind of like it because a lot of times I'll put material out and then I'll rake it out with the teeth. You can kind of regulate your material that way. And this is strictly my opinion. This is just it's all technique. Some guys like smooth buckets. Corey, he never used to have a smooth bucket at all. He'd always have a tooth bucket, but he's always having to clean streets and stuff like that. Well, I just flat bottom my bucket and tilt it just a hair, and I can clean a majority of the dirt off the street just like a smooth bucket. Not as well, but probably 90% as good. But I kind of feel like that the teeth help break up the ground, break up the crumbles, I guess, not the ground, but they help break up the crumbles. And a smooth bucket, I don't feel like does as good. So generally you'll always see me with a tooth bucket. That way, if I need to dig in soil, I can. You can dig with a smooth bucket, just not as good, not as easy. It doesn't fracture the ground as you go into it like a tooth bucket would. 4-in-1 buckets, man, my buddy loves a 4-in-1 bucket, loves it. He uses it all the time. He loves that thing. I've demoed 2 different ones because I thought the first one, well, maybe it just was the bucket. I don't see the use in them. I don't like grading with them. Now, I know some of the newer buckets, I'm just going to throw some names out, like Land Pride, Norm Industries or something like that, Norm Engineering. I think it's an Australian company. They actually have a valve system in them to where it will, like if you lock down on a log, it'll keep locked down until you release, until you go the opposite direction to open the valve, almost like a check valve. Land Pride, and I know that Norm Engineering, Norm Industries, you might look into it. They both have that valving in them. So somebody else may also, I don't know. Anyways, but I've used a 4-in-1 bucket a couple times, and you can't really, it seemed like you couldn't open it up and use the back blade, I guess, against the mold board. You couldn't really use it as a dozer blade efficiently because you can't see it. Maybe if you got used to it. I didn't spend a lot of time on it because I kind of got frustrated with it. And then if I do have a smooth bucket, or say I've got my land plane, a lot of times I'll take my land plane in my tooth bucket. I've got to get out, and not that I'm lazy, but you have to get out, unhook the hoses. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a quick attach on your machine. Anyways, but that's kind of an explanation in a nutshell. I do have a tooth and a smooth bucket for my mini skid. My smooth bucket is my mulch bucket, but I figured that kind of hit two home runs, I guess. If we need to move mulch, I load salt with it. It's kind of got, it's obviously bigger, but it's got a longer bottom in it and stuff. so I can reach across the spreader a little bit more. That's why I built that loading ramp at the shop. I think you guys seen that video. If not, check out my other videos. But I do have a smooth bucket and a tooth bucket for my mini skid. I really do like the tooth bucket on the mini skid. It increases the length of your bucket, obviously, so you can see your edge better. You can see the orientation of your bucket, I guess. Because it is a little more difficult to grade with a mini skid than a regular skid loader. It's got more intuition built into it. But anyways, for a full-size skid on my SVL 65, I do like a tooth bucket. That's just, you know, my choice. Anyways, hopefully that helps out. Literally, you know, this video, I didn't look at the name, but this video is mainly for the guy that asked me what I thought about buckets, if I ever, because he noticed that I used a tooth bucket, and he said, hey, do you ever use a smooth bucket? If you had to pick one, what would you pick? If I had to pick one, tooth bucket. And I do kind of like my Bradco bucket with the big side biters and stuff like that, but any bucket's fine. Deer buckets are good. I've had a couple people actually tell me that cat buckets grade really good. They've got kind of a new style one-piece tooth that doesn't have the tooth adapter and stuff on it, and it's a wider tooth. I don't know, you might check it out, but supposedly they're like a really good grading bucket. But I like my Bradco bucket. No sponsorship or nothing. That's what I bought. It was from a local Kubota dealer in town before Land Pride, Kubota, Paladin, Bradco, whatever merge, everybody did something, because the Paladin Bradco buckets look just like the Land Pride and Kubota buckets. So I'm sure somebody bought somebody and bought somebody else and something. Anyways, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick a tooth bucket. Something with the, you know, the flat plain teeth on the bottom, no tooth bar. They stick down and then you can't grade smooth and all that. But anyways, hope that helps. Have a good day, like and subscribe, and maybe check out my other videos. You might see something that will help you out. Or I've had a lot of people say that my review videos help quite a bit on their decision making on, you know, on like a skid loader or a mini excavator. I like Yanmar stuff. My dealer's amazing in town. I do like my Kubota. We're gonna have some video today of it brush hogging, so check that out if you've got a Kubota. I've got a little SVL 65 and it does everything I need it to do. I push it pretty good and it hasn't failed me yet. So anyways, hope that helps, guys, and have a good day. Thanks for watching.